Sure, it ain't cheeks, but I'll clap it.
Donkey Kong originated as a classic arcade game back on July 31st, 1998. But that was specifically Cranky Kong, as the Donkey Kong we all would know would show his face back in November 1994. Yeah, these two separate monkeys. He debuted in Donkey Kong Country, where he proceeded to be the main Donkey Kong all the way to the current day with Donkey Kong Bonanza. But back in the GameCube era, Nintendo was trying to figure out what to do with DK's IP due to Rare's bought out. Since they couldn't really make a DK Country due to the lack of Rare, now they decided to put two barrels together and say, hit it. Here I got the DK Bongos, a unique controller made for the DK games made in the GameCube era. These were made by the same developers that made Taiki no Tatsujin, as they specialize in drum-based rhythm games, so to go with the Bongos came with 3 games known as Donkey Konga. Unfortunately, I don't have any of these 3 games, as I can't find the first 2 and the third one never got its visa. And these games were a success and were able to give a new image to DK for the era as they were able to figure out their Rare problem. But with success, Nintendo thought of, what if we make a Bongo platform? My hands aren't ready for this. Out came Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, a platform game that requires the DK Bongos to play.
So this is a very unique way to play a game. And the reason why I took even notice of this platformer because, well, this wacky ass controller. Usually, whenever you get a platformer, they usually consist of just a button, 2 buttons, and a D-pad, and that's about it. But with this thing, you get a whole ass bongo set. Honestly, I don't think I would have even taken a closer look at this game if not for this. Also, I don't think Nintendo has done anything as wacky as this. I mean, sure, we got the Wii wheel, but that's just a piece of plastic you insert the Wii remote in. And now we got Joy-Cons and their Pro Controller to handle the rest. And there is a Wii version, I believe that uses the new Wii Play controllers scheme that they tried to do back in the day, where instead they repurpose old GameCube games so they can work with the modern hardware at the time, the Wii remote. But I think I'm going to stick with this, and funny enough, I'm still going to play this on the Wii because that is how I play my GameCube games. Well, I got my Bongos and a bowl of ice. I don't know why I need a bowl of ice, but let's get to it. Here is the DK Jungle Beat.
The game begins with a quick tutorial how to play. Okay, this is easy. To go right, we hit right. To go left, we hit left. To jump, we hit both sides. To interact with certain objects and enemies, we clap. And I am starting to see why a bowl of ice is needed here. And yeah, that's basically all the controls for the game. What did you expect? It's a pair of bongos and a button. Honestly, after playing a while, the bongos are just 2 giant buttons with a different sensitivity and a standard button. Hitting them hard doesn't make your action stronger, it's just fun to do. Okay, well then what's the story? Certainly there's a reason DK is going out on an adventure to other neighboring kingdoms. Monkey Mad Get Banana.
So yeah, the game is actually much smaller than I thought. It's more of an arcade-style platformer game where the point of it is that you just collect as many bananas as possible, and depending on how many bananas you collect is how many medals you might get at the end. And usually, from what I gather, it's around 500 get the bronze, I think 700 get silver, and then we get gold, and that's like 800 plus. And that is annoying to deal with sometimes.
So, in each level, there are 4 kingdoms to invade, each with 3 stages of a playthrough. The first 2 are usually some sort of 2D side-scroller to go through with the intention to collect as many bananas as possible. Then the final stage is a boss stage, where depending on how many bananas you collected is your own health bar, and once you beat the kingdom, some of your bananas are collected, and if you pass 500, you pass the kingdoms, and rinse and repeat. There's also a medal system for those who want achievements in their lives. And that's the game. Yeah, this is a fairly short game, as its main game is just 3 levels. Level D, Level K, Level J, and then Final Boss. Also Level B for post-game.
So yeah, it's a way more simpler game than I thought I was going to go into. I thought this was going to be, I don't know, at least a mid-sized game and a little bit challenging. And honestly, it's not as challenging. It's a very basic game. It's just left, right, and then you clap and then you do stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's all that challenging. At least the game. Because the real challenge is control.
So, the point here is to collect bananas. Okay, simple enough. To do so, either walk up to them or clap to collect them for a certain distance. But when you collect them through clapping, you actually gain more bananas this way than just walking up to them. To further that, you can make combos by staying airborne. Every time you click both bananas and actions that you keep from touching the ground, the amount of bananas increases more than triple the amount you collected, making it much easier to pass the 500 mark than the game expects. Of course, there are obstacles, with true challenge being how you control the game, as it's not that easy controlling DK with these bongos. Moving is alright, but could have used more work, as it's easy to run faster or not fast enough, as the bongo sensitivity is based on how fast you hit them, not how hard you hit them. And occasionally the mic on top will mistake some noises or movements for clapping, even when you weren't even clapping to begin with. This has caused a lot of mistakes on my end, as I either missed bananas or got hit when I didn't even mean to clap. And I try to fix this, as there is a setting to change the sensitivity for a mic, but more often than not, the mic either couldn't hear me clap or hears everything and is just f***ing with me. It does get annoying though when the mic doesn't react to your claps, as it can easily cost you so many bananas, as if you get hit, your banana count decrease. And if it reaches 0, then game over. But when the mic works, it works really well. And it's honestly really fun flying around seeing the banana count grow higher and higher. Probably one of the most fun short games I play in a while. There are some other segments like a swimming, riding, and flying levels, but they mostly focus more on how you control the bongos and clapping at the same time. Once you master the controls and your mic finally starts listening, it's honestly more fun to play. Now the true challenge is endurance. My god, you clap so many times, whether it be your hands or the bongos, and the game is extremely repetitive. There are so many segments where you need to clap rapidly to the point of where your hands go numb and red. So that's what the ice is for. This is especially in the boss segments, as every time you move in to do a big attack, you have to rapidly hit the bongos as fast as you can to get the most damage before the boss gets up. Or these segments with these Kongs who fight you like a boss fight, but in order to dodge, you have to clap, and I have to dodge so many times so I can have the small chance to quickly go ham on them. All these fast moments were probably the most aggravating parts, as there were still moments where my claps didn't go through and I got punished, and that's annoying. Since I mentioned it, I might as well say the bosses are all the same for animals, reskinned and slightly harder each time. The Kongs are all fighting-based game for some reason, and you use the bongos to punch and clap to dodge. The bird, where you have to counter and hit the egg to deal damage, and it's also the easiest of the boss fights. The warthog just throws coconuts at you and sometimes other stuff. You just counter and then throw hands. And then there's the elephant, and you just need to throw exploding pineapples at his snout and then bomb him. Yeah, not the most complex boss fights, and I feel like the other 3 animals were just kind of shoehorned in while they actually plan out the Kongs, since they're actually the more unique ones out of the 4. But there's really not much to say about them. They're just kind of like, here's a boss fight, beat the boss, there we go. The Kongs are just the more fun one to do. But man, this game is rough and long sessions. As I noticed, I got worse after a while because my hands were too red than legally allowed to. Now, the game can be played with a standard GameCube controller, and there is a Wii version where you can mimic playing like the bongos minus the numbing, but that's not the Nintendo way. You have to look like a jackass. That's the Nintendo way. In all seriousness, the game is only special because the bongos, because without them, Jungle Beat is just a simple, short platformer that can easily be forgotten in the library of Nintendo platformers, if not for the bongos. All I can think is this game can only be truly experienced with the bongos, but if you don't have them, that's fine, honestly. I don't think you're missing out much due to how simple this game is, but if you really want to mimic playing like the bongos, I suggest the Wii version instead.
And that is DK Jungle Beat, and yeah, that was an experience, alright? Sure, it got repetitive sometimes due to all the clapping and the bongo hitting, but honestly, I think that was well worth playing through. Now, I do think if you play it, you're going to have to go through a challenge of endless clapping the entire time. And beware for that, because I think my days of cheeks are over.